Hi everyone, Gary Pittman, Introduction to Literature. This is my Unit 7 video on poetry and as music. I'd like to do a comparison of Do Not Go Gentle Into That Good Night by Dylan Thomas and a song by my favorite band, Rush, who is now retired, but they have a lot of deep songs with a lot of meaning. Some of them tell stories, and in particular the song Losing It made me think of, or rather Dylan Thomas's poem made me think of the song Losing It by Rush. In Thomas's poem, he addresses the final stage of light, or when somebody gets to their last breath on their dying bed. Neil Peart addresses how growing old and losing the ability to do things we could do earlier in life and how it affects us. Thomas tells of good men the last wave by, crying how bright their frail deeds might have danced in a green bay. Now again, this is looking at somebody in their younger days, the things they could accomplish, and now here they are on their dying bed, taking their last breath. In the song Losing It, Neil Peart's first verse says, "The dancer slows her frantic pace in pain and desperation, with aching limbs and downcast face aglow with perspiration. Stiff as wire, her lungs on fire with just the briefest pause, and flooding through her memories the echoes of old applause." This would be a ballerina who was famous and performed all over the world on stage, and getting older and not even be able to stand on her toes as she once did before, and getting frustrated. Thomas tells of grave men near death who see with blinding sight. Now, in his poem, he does mention something to the effect of that blind eyes could blaze like meteors and be gay. So again, looking at how their eyes once were, and now here they are in their deathbed with blinding sight. In Losing It by Neil Peart, the second verse starts with, "The writer stares with glassy eyes, defies the empty page. His beard is white, his face is lined and streaked with tears of rage. 30 years ago, how the words would flow with passion and precision. Now his mind is dark and dulled by sickness and indecision." Again, looking at a novelist who was at the top of his game, probably on the bestsellers list 30 years ago. Now he tries to write something and looks at the notebook and can't even put together a sentence. At the end of Thomas's poem, he puts rage against the dying of the light. This is where he's talking about his father and how sad he is that his father is on his dying bed. In Neil Peart's Losing It, the last line of the song is, "For you the blind who once could see, the bell tolls for thee." It also goes on right before that line to say, "Some are born to move the world, to live their fantasies. Most of us just dream about the things we'd like to be. But sadder still to watch it die than never to have known it. For you the blind who once could see, the bell tolls for thee." Thomas looks at and describes aging up to one's dying last breath. Here he describes, a man in younger days, how they were agile, could see with hawk eye vision, and here they are now on their deathbed taking their last breath. Neil Peart, in Losing It, addresses the sadness of growing old and losing the abilities one once had, being able to be the ballerina or the novelist or a painter, and not being able to do any of that in your old age. Now, both writings differ in the extent of aging that they write about or discuss, yet still each touch on the aging process, which, if we're fortunate enough to, we'll have to come to terms with as we age.